Hi everyone, welcome to Good Bad Delay. I'm Chris King. Today we're going to go deep thoughts on the Oculus E3 event we just saw this morning. It started at 10 a.m.?
Yes, yeah, it was 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yes. So we actually just heard about this Oculus event maybe like 2 days before. I apologize for not giving you guys a heads up, even earlier that we were going to be covering this stuff, but we weren't really just sure exactly what our plans were just yet. We had to kind of move. But if you guys are watching this video, hopefully you may have seen that on Twitter. We have actually a few favorites right there. On Twitter, we did cover, as we usually do, we live tweeted the whole event. So Alex is going to go down pretty much point by point. We're going to break it down, give us our thoughts. We were pretty surprised about this whole E3 event. It felt really much like a console reveal.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. So it was known as an Oculus special live event. So I guess it was just like, it is showing just about everything Oculus. So we actually just started off with the release date. As the first thing we dropped was that it was Q1 2016. So what does this mean to you and its competitors?
Well, Q1 2016, I would expect no earlier than March. You don't really typically release things like in January, February. It's a kind of weird time frame to release something so big like this.
Yeah, because I was assumed closer to Christmas. That's why I put all consoles and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good one. But this isn't really a Christmas gift kind of a thing. This is more special. This, like I said, it'll probably be no earlier than March, like I don't know, 20th, something like that. Anyway, so I mean Q1 2016. We're gonna talk a lot about Morpheus a little bit later on. But one of the things we have heard is that Morpheus is also aiming at Q1 2016. I don't believe this thing is going to be delayed anymore, especially now that Facebook is behind them. This seems to be the final, the final model. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
So what it comes with is
yes. Well, first, let's talk about the design itself. We have a few pictures that we're looking at right here. That one is like a side concept, but what we notice here with this picture is that it's a lot less than it was before. This is very much like. It's just kind of a weird kind of goggle. That's kind of what it looks like.
And the back, top.
Yeah, a little bit of like that kind of head support thing, I guess. But it looks like goggles now. It doesn't really look like a kind of head-mounted device so much as, like I said, it looks like goggles. I was really surprised, and again, it's very genius kind of thinking behind it. Not genius, but very practical thinking is that they included like a surround sound kind of earbuds in it.
That's very, very smart.
Very genius. Because I was expecting like, man, it's gonna be expensive. Like you're gonna have to pay for the PC, pay for the Oculus, and pay for a compatible headset. That it's gonna be just way too much on your head. But they're allowing you the option to do headset or no headset. But yeah, what do you think about the design itself?
I like it. Also, it's really nice that it's all fabric. Like the front used to be plastic, so it's nice that the fabric is everywhere. And also, he kept talking about how comfortable it is and how light it is. Yeah. So that's one of the biggest issues that everybody has, just like this big, heavy thing. Yes. So it's nice that it's that. And then the lens are a little more circular. Yeah. So
they look very binocular-esque. So another point that they showed us was that it's going to have just one plugin. Just one plugin set to the back of your PC. I'm not sure where it's going to go there. I'm hoping that he's meaning like a USB. Because that's all I want, just like USB. I don't want it to be too complicated. But the plugin was kind of weird. It looked kind of like a microphone kind of a thing. I'm not sure. Did you catch what they said it was?
Nope.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's either some sort of tracking device or some sort of microphone kind of device. I'm not entirely sure, but it's just one plugin.
I'm sure it's to view your motions.
Yeah, it could be something. It looked like a camera kind of a thing.
Yeah, so I wouldn't know because obviously if it's so light, not everything could be in there. So I'm assuming that's what that is. It's just a tracker.
As well, it could be. Another point that they mentioned was that the lens are actually distance adjustable. So the lens can kind of move to a certain degree.
Which I thought was very smart too.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, they're really thinking about all kinds of people. That's for sure. And now we're gonna get into the games that Alex are gonna break down. So with another point that they did mention, which I thought was also very consumer friendly, was glasses could be worn underneath. Obviously, a lot of people do wear glasses. So yeah, there's that. Let's get to the games now.
Okay, so the first thing that they actually showed, they even showed an actual VR gameplay with this, and it's a game. I don't even know the developer. Do you remember who it was?
I don't remember the developer, but it's the guys who make the EVE Online.
Okay, so yeah, obviously it's another EVE. It's called EVE Valkyrie, and so you saw, it was like about 4 or 5 minutes. It was
pretty long, yeah, trailer.
Yeah. So how'd you like it?
I'm not a fan of EVE Online. I am a fan of the fact that you can do like 1,000 player matches or something like that. Like it gets really hectic. I'm a fan of that concept. I will say this. It looks really. It looks like this is gonna be the Mario 64 of the Oculus Rift. Like this is the game you have to have in order to first get a concept of what Oculus is. You know, everyone talks about the first one that they look down at their bodies, they look down at their arms, like everything is there. Very simple gameplay. You're just kind of in a ship and stuff. When we get to the Oculus Touch, you know, I think that's perfect use for it because you'll really feel like you are like in a ship. I know I look ridiculous, you know, but the overall, I mean, it's nothing really game changing. If this came out on PS4, I probably wouldn't really play it. Again, though, there was one point where you saw multiple ships come in.
Yeah. And
I was assuming, oh, are those your teammates? And on the opposite side, with the kind of warp speed, that was really dope too. It felt very kind of Star Wars to me. So it was really interesting, but I'm not sure if this is like a full game that I would really want to put money down for.
Yeah, when I first thought about the Oculus, like the first thing that I already called out, I was saying that the first one's gonna be what is that called? When it's like a single rail game, like you look at Jurassic Park.
Yes.
So that's what I thought it was gonna be. It's like, okay, you can just look around as you're going. Yeah, just like how they show the roller coasters, like in E3s and stuff. It's just like you have to kind of just stay there and you can look around.
Right.
So this one kind of gives me that same feeling. Is that you are in this cockpit. So this is your single rail, but obviously you can control the ship. So I guess this is a nice step. Also, something has to be really simple. Even though this is a complex game because there's so much going on, but space is simple. And there's nothing to say about it. There's going to be a few little asteroids and stuff, but really it's just a lot of open space. So this is like the perfect way to actually show this off. Yeah,
and actually the more I'm thinking about it now, it actually may be the opposite, because I'm thinking, depending on, because the movement seemed very slow, but I was assuming that that's because they're trying to show off. But if this combat really does go like really fast and stuff, and you're just kind of rocking everywhere and stuff, and because you have to keep up with the glass window itself, it could be disorienting for most people. So I'm not sure if I'm assuming this might be either a very slow kind of a flyer, or they just really figured out the motion, I guess. So either way, it's interesting, but we'll kind of see what happens with that game. Next up is Chronos, actually. Yeah. So that's one you missed, right?
Yeah, that's the one by Gunslinger.
Yeah, Gunslinger Games. Not sure what else they've made before, but this game is exclusive for Oculus. This one was like right up my alley. The art style was very eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and there's a new game coming out that I don't know, very similar art style to that though. It looks really kind of like a pencil drawn. Yet the color is very kind of watercolor-esque, but it's a dungeon crawler. It's an RPG. Pretty much, it looked a lot like a kind of spin on Zelda. The hero at least, because he looked really young and he was just kind of going through this dungeon. What they told us, but they didn't show us, which they should have, is that apparently this hero ages over time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so when he's young, he's really quick and has a lot of agility, but he's not as strong. And if he becomes an adult, he's kind of balanced, and when he becomes old, he's really intelligent, but not as
it's gonna do not
as agile. So you can solve puzzles more quickly or something like that. So again, the concept is really cool. It sounds like an indie game to me, downloadable kind of thing. My one problem with this Oculus thing is it looks like a third-person game. We could be wrong, but it was filmed from third person. I'm not sure why you would put any third-person games on Oculus.
Yeah, it seems very, very first-person platform. Like I say, that's just where you stay. But because what are you gonna do with that? Now it's gonna look like 3D, I guess. I really don't know what you would do with that.
Yeah, even then, I'm not even. I would stay away from something that looks, I guess 3D. But I'm not really sure. The thing about Oculus is they presented it as a console, right? They really presented it like this is. They didn't even talk about PC.
Yeah.
The only thing they mentioned PC was like plug this into your PC.
Yeah.
The rest of it was like this is a platform.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated. But the problem is that you have to think about what is your platform's audience? Because this looked like this E3 could have been targeted to everyone. But this is one of the problems with Nintendo, right? They're very like instead of thinking about the mass market, they're thinking about here's our audience, which they do well, So I don't know. Oculus is kind of weird. It's just there's a lot of first-person games out there. I think there should be a first-person only platform. I don't really want to play Grand Theft Auto in third person on here. I could do it on my PS4.
Yeah.
I'd like to do, you know, Skyrim here. You know, something like that. But again, another exclusive Oculus game from Insomniac.
Yeah. Now this one's the one that I was really excited about. It just looked really cool. So, like even in the end, that line that you're not supposed to be here, that made me actually think of this as a horror game, and I think that would be perfect for Oculus. Like, I want to be freaked out in Oculus. Like, that's what I would use it for. I would use it for, what was that game? What was that game? The one where you just have a camcorder the whole time.
Like Outlast.
Yes. See, now that game I would love to play in Oculus. I want to be freaked out. Okay, so this is what this gave me. It's a small vibe of that. If you actually look at the screenshot that I have up there on Twitter, we have on Twitter, it reminds me of that movie Monsters, if you ended up seeing that movie. It's an independent movie, and it's pretty much just giant aliens. So that's what it reminded me of, that's what I thought of. But also this one looks like it was third person.
Yeah, it looked like a done third person. The art style was, like you said, really, really cool. I love the picture that they put up. I'm so surprised this game did not get leaked or anything like that, because it's by Insomniac. Like, that's crazy. And the fact that they made an exclusive game, like, that's a really good move for them. I mean, I'm not a supporter of VR really, but the fact that Insomniac was like we're gonna just go ahead and do it, like we're gonna go ahead and do it, is really, really, you know, ballsy on their point. But again, the third person thing confused me a bit. I'm not sure why. This is a point that I did want to bring up. Right underneath where it says Edge of Nowhere, you guys can't see it, but if you look at the Twitter picture that he posted up, it says a VR adventure.
Yeah.
And in Chronos, I believe it also said a Chronos VR game. There was several other games that they showed later on that said, I think it was like there was like a sports game. It was like sports VR. I'm a little bit worried about the VR branding because it's like, not that VR is a negative thing, but it sounds like, you know, like you wouldn't put God of War console experience. You know, like you would put God of War mobile experience, like kind of like in those Ratchet and Clank games, right? Like you wouldn't put Ratchet and Clank PlayStation experience. You would put Ratchet and Clank, you know, the iOS version. You know, so it sounds like VR could be like not a gaming, but kind of like this is like a mobile kind of platform. You know, this is a different type of platform. I feel like they should just put here's a game, Edge of Nowhere.
Well, obviously it's gonna be only for the exclusive ones.
Yeah.
I think in time, all games will touch up on this. Like they will have a VR version. Or not, or like a setting. It's like vibrate controller on or off. So I think in time it's just going to become that thing. At least that's what they're trying to do. At least in my eyes. So that's what they're trying to do. It's like every developer's already going to have this already built in into all their systems and stuff. So I want that to happen. Yeah,
it was a little kind of, you know, strange, but we'll see what the branding does. But moving on, this next one was. Let's talk about Oculus Home real quick. They showed off this kind of the user interface. I'm assuming that you can only access it through the Oculus Rift and stuff. It looked really clean. It looked kind of very Xbox, kind of like a Steam kind of thing, where you have apparently you're gonna have like your own friends section and your own messages and your own like where you can purchase games through the Oculus as well. I was expecting they'd be connected to somewhere like Steam or like Windows or something like that, but apparently Oculus, again, it's its own platform. Oculus Home is the answer to PSN and to Xbox Live and to Steam. So I applaud them for doing something like that. Not sure how it's going to work out because there's so many different platforms now. But it's interesting to say the least. But now this is probably the biggest bomb that they dropped, at least for me.
Here, let me actually
go ahead.
Okay, so what ended up happening at first, like they were talking about, what's important, other than audio, other than obviously your eyes, would be your hands.
No, before that, this one.
Okay.
Because that one.
That thing. See, like, no, I didn't want to talk about this at all. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. So what's happening is that now this thing is integrated with Windows 10. So that already drops that other bomb. Well, it wasn't really a bomb because it said in the beginning is that they're somehow partnered with Microsoft.
Yeah, there's two really big bombs that we learned here that I don't think anyone expected. That's the second one we'll get to in just a bit. But yeah, this first one, Oculus has this partnership with Microsoft. Very specifically, you could say Xbox, but a lot of Windows features will be implemented. But again, Phil Spencer came out, which surprised all of us. and he just said, okay, well, yeah, the first thing they revealed was the Oculus will ship with the Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect. I wasn't sure if they're going to have their own controller, if they were going to have a certain method of input, or I figured you were going to use a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But even then, that's kind of weird to just have a VR and just be sitting at a desk. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So they want to use a gamepad. That's their preferred kind of a thing. But again, this whole thing with Xbox. So I think that this is a better deal for Xbox than Oculus, and I guess we'll get to that in just with this other bomb that they dropped.
Yeah, so when they were saying that, they were saying like, we need something in your hands.
Yes.
So I was all excited because I was expecting something new, something different. So when they dropped the bomb of being, well, not really a bomb, but when they dropped it saying, hey, look, everything's going to ship with the Xbox One controller. So I was like, okay, we're getting some different experience, so this feels like 3D now. So, and then finally in the end, they decided to...
Founder Lucky came out.
Yeah, whoever that is.
Founder.
Oh, okay, so Founder guy. Came out with something like huge. I was like, this is what I wanted. Why isn't this shipped?
It's a very good picture.
In the box. And he ended up bringing out what they're calling Oculus Touch. So Oculus Touch, how he described it, was a half-moon design. And it actually just goes in your wrist. It has a trigger. It has the motions. So it's really cool. So Oculus Touch is that full-on experience of Oculus. Okay, until I'm calling it now, until they release the Oculus chair, the game chair. Okay, because Oculus game chair is gonna move with you, if that exists. And then we have this, and then you have this. It's a full experience.
Yeah, I mean, this does complete that virtual reality experience. Again, up until the Oculus Touch, I was a skeptic. It didn't really seem like VR to me, because all it is really just a screen this close to your face. Besides the fact that when you move your head, the camera moves, which is cool. But I mean, when you're playing a game, you don't necessarily want to be getting whiplash like either. So it's a cool concept. But anyway, the biggest thing though is Oculus Touch. The fact that these controllers they're supposed to kind of, I guess, mimic, like if you would put your hands into some sort of circular device where it has all sensors on it. It has different controls to, like I said, hand presence, manipulation, low mental load, gestures, and inputs. This could be the best motion controller ever. Yeah. It looks to be much better than the Wiimote, much better than PlayStation Move. I think they really just stepped up their game big time with the Oculus Touch. This is legit. I don't believe it's going to be ready at launch, though. I think that we're not going to see that thing for maybe either the end of 2016 or if not next year.
Probably why it's not in the box.
Yeah.
Because they want to release the Oculus as soon as possible.
But again, like if they would have just revealed this at first, I wouldn't have mentioned the whole Xbox thing. Because if I would buy the Oculus, which I will get to my caveat at one point. There's one rationale where I would buy one, but I'll get to that in just a second. If I would buy one, I would want the Oculus Touch. I mean, I don't want to play the Oculus with the Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
That's for Xbox. If I want to play this thing, I want those Oculus Touch controllers.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And sadly, we do have to talk about the failure. What I believe is a failure of the PlayStation Move. But obviously, we needed that for this to even exist, because that
yes, it did. Yeah.
Buttons. Even before that, we had the Wii.
Yeah.
We had his Move thing. Then from there, I guess the Kinect. So like everything, it's like you see the expansion and progression of technology here, and it's really cool. I like this. The Touch is awesome.
Yeah, I won't be surprised though if PlayStation is gonna have something like this.
Of course.
I mean, we know that the Project Morpheus is gonna work with the PlayStation Move, but after saying those things, like I think that we're gonna get a new PlayStation Move.
I'm sure they're yelling right now. It's like get together.
Yeah, they're like, copy this.
This is a good it
is cool.
A good kept secret.
It is. It is. Like I've never heard of this thing. I thought about something like this before, but I just didn't think that. I didn't really picture how it would look. Yeah. But this is interesting.
The rumors that I had, because I'm a loser and I check out like weird blogs and stuff, so I checked the Oculus stuff, and people were just talking about Power Gloves. Like it was like, we're gonna bring back the Power Gloves.
Precisely. I kept thinking it would be some new form of that, but or with. That would work with Kinect. Or actually, this reminds me a lot of Leap Motion, which is actually what I wanted to buy for a PC, but it's basically, you just put this little thing on your finger, and it can pretty much, it works as a mouse. Yeah. So I figured it'd be something like that for like your finger or something, but full controllers is really interesting. Quick mention: there's apparently gonna be an Oculus app.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be just like the PSN app, just to make purchases and stuff like that. I don't think it's anything major.
And
but
you mentioned E3, so I'm sure like
more at E3.
It's more E3, so I'm sure the app is going to tell you like this is probably their own little Twitter thing for now, because there has to be nothing there.
So yeah, a few more points. That's all our information. I guess the biggest thing here again, I really think that this is a really good move on Microsoft's part. I think that Microsoft can now promote this as this is our answer to Morpheus. This is our answer to, well, the other thing was Oculus, and now they don't have the answer to it, because I think that Microsoft is not going to invest in their own. They have HoloLens coming out, but that thing is not for games. It's just not. It's more of a, I guess, PC experience with that's augmented reality, so it's not even virtual reality. But I think this is the answer to Morpheus. I don't think we're going to see a Xbox VR headset.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
Okay, so then after that, just are you in for Oculus? Like, do you think that if, obviously very expensive to set up, but if you had the resources and everything like that, would you consider buying it?
I am not for Oculus.
Okay.
I'm not there. I like it. I like this presentation. I like everything they brought out. But the thing is that having another console and another console, 'cause that's what it felt like.
They did,
like,
yeah.
I'm buying just another console. They still haven't fleshed out enough for it. Like, yes, they do have their exclusive games and stuff, but I guess I am the person who buys a PS2 rather than PlayStation 1. I am the person who jumps into Xbox 360 rather than an Xbox. Like, I am that person who wants to already have a catalog there. Like, I don't want to watch a show and barely be episode 1. Like, I want there to be like, oh, what else has this brought out? And stuff like that. So I guess that's just where I'm at right now, which is that's a bad example too, because I do watch shows from episode 1.
Right.
But like, I guess because I'm not ready to throw down like $1,000 or however much it's going to cost for the full experience.
Yeah.
Just to have pretty much nothing else to play. Like, we already done this. We're already here with Xbox One and PS4. It's like we have these big people who already made tons and tons of games, and they're like, we kind of have nothing for it. Like, you keep playing your PS3 and Xbox 360 for now, because everything else is getting postponed. So that's how I feel about this. It's just like, we're not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, I'm not in either. My caveat is that I really wanted Microsoft Surface. I really wanted Surface Pro, actually. Right now they're, I think, on 3. So I really was interested in getting like a Surface Pro 4 or something like that. We have some other things we have to invest in first, like with the Mac that we want. But I do want to get a Surface. I will get a Surface if they can do this. If the Surface is compatible with the Oculus, which I'm not sure if the specs are there. I mean, the one I want is like $2,000. It's the one that's pretty much fully upgraded. I'm not sure if even those specs are able to do support Oculus. If Microsoft can come out with a Surface that does support Oculus, then I will be like, okay, this thing is legit. That's cool. But again, it's not going to warrant me throwing down like $400, $500 to get that whole Oculus and Oculus Touch. I think maybe with the Oculus 2, that would then again be interesting. But if I'm gonna do VR, I'm gonna do Morpheus. Because again, they although I'm really impressed with the Oculus Touch, you brought up a good point, which actually this is much more of an answer to PlayStation Move than PlayStation Move is an answer to Oculus Touch, because they wouldn't have Oculus Touch if it wasn't for PlayStation Move. Because I actually was thinking, why didn't they call it Oculus Move? I was like, oh yeah, because it was already the Move before, so it would make more sense. But I don't know. I'm still really skeptical of VR. The one final point I'll make though is that I strongly urge, I strongly believe that PlayStation should have Morpheus at E3.
Oh yeah.
In a very, very big way. I think it should take up at least 10 minutes of the conference to say these are our plans, this is when you can expect it, these are the kind of games we're working on, because we talked about they open up a studio just for PlayStation Morpheus, because I'm really skeptical. I'm not really interested in it, but if they can really show like, here's our plan, we've been working on it, here's the brand new PlayStation Move controller and all that kind of stuff, then I would be interested. Just not sure if I would want to invest, but yeah.
Yeah, my microwave is like Morpheus compatible. I would like that.
Totally
all my Sony products just integrated.
Everything integrated. So, any other final thoughts?
So now that the Oculus actually is compatible with Windows 10, so now I'm wondering if every other laptop, everything that's coming out Windows 10, like you were talking about the Surface, like I wonder if it will be compatible with it.
Yeah, I know that they released a list of specs that you will probably need to expect to run the Oculus. So like I said, if it can become a point, because the Surface is very powerful, but it's not a full-blown like laptop gaming rig PC, because you can make it into a desktop. There's a little station you can buy and it becomes kind of a desktop, which is what I want to do. It's like $100 extra, but I don't think that even fully upgraded, like you can go up to Intel 7, so and the Macs use i7, so that's cool and all, but I don't think that the Surface has like a gaming graphics card like the AMD Radeon that the new Mac has, the Retina one. So if they can bring it down to a point where now it's compatible, then I think you can get it into the doors of many more people. But so far, this thing is like elite. Like you have to be dedicated, man, to VR in order to invest, because this thing screams like pricey to me. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Next time, most likely, we'll get an actual retail price.
Yeah. I think that was when we'll finally know what kind of sales we can expect from the Oculus. Yeah. Okay, so everything virtual reality, gaming, and definitely with all this E3 coverage, stay right here to Goodbye Deli.